Welcome back to the Football Terrace for a brand new show, the first ever episode of Six Sided. It's 6 perspectives on 6 different topics with 6 people. 6-sided. That's it. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. It shouldn't need any more explanation than that, but that is what it is. We hope you enjoy it. It's an adaptation of the top 6, which was a great show, the first of its kind on YouTube, but now it's time for something new, something different, a little bit more fresh. And we have trialed this out throughout the summer, so it will make sense as we go forward. But hit the like button. Make sure you're all subscribing. Get that bell notification turned on as well. But panel-wise tonight, we have the brilliant Chatty Patty back with us after a while. We have the lovely, the gorgeous, the sumptuous Kwess on with us tonight as well. We have the handsome, the rugged, the wonderful Henry online with us right now. Sorry, Henry's not rugged and handsome. We've got Tom Little here, who's wearing a hat covering up that awful haircut. Man like Nobbins is here, the most well-educated, most well-spoken man on football social media, plus one of the queens of the Football Terrace. Kate is here with us. How are we all this evening?
Good, man.
Yeah,
Good.
brilliant. Football's back, Terry. The Family's back.
Come on, man.
I mean, I won at the weekend. I know Nobbins won at the weekend. I know both Patrick and Kate won at the weekend. Who else won at the weekend, guys?
You should have won, though. You should have won.
I got a moral victory, man. We played so much better than last season, so I'm happy with that. No, it was gutting not to win yesterday, but we'll get onto that because we've got some questions to go through, and this is the point of the new concept. There's 6 different questions that are related to topics in the title, transfer news at the moment, plus the games that have happened. So it isn't 6 random topics. It's all to do with what's going on. It's fictional football, as many of you have seen us do before. And we're going to start with Manchester United, and it's a continuation from yesterday, really. But linked today to Wharton, linked today to goalkeepers, linked today to new players. But fictional football, and I'm going to go to Tom first on this. Manchester United need a new goalkeeper more than a midfield player after another keeper error cost them points.
I don't know what to say. Fictional football, you them both as bad as each other. They're both as bad as each other. Buying there, that was horrendous, and it's not the first time he's done it. You know what? It's probably football, just on the basis that Casemiro was all right. But my God, Ugarte when he came on killed anything. I don't get the way United are trying to do it in that game, especially where for some reason Fernandes was the deeper of the 2 midfielders, and he was constantly dropping between the centre backs. Like, you're wasting most of his best attributes back there. So, and that just meant that for some reason you were putting Ugarte closer to goal. That shot he takes with 2 minutes to go, when you got an attack on, you got Mbeumo and Ahmad bombing down the right. If he lays it off, there could be a real opportunity, and he hits it from 35 yards like he's ever putting it in the net. Mental. Onana is, we all know what Onana is. He's a calamity waiting to happen. Bayern shouldn't play that much. But the fact that this is like the 3rd time he's conceded pretty much directly from a corner has to be concerning. But Casemiro was at least good enough. Casemiro was at least good. I thought Casemiro was pretty decent yesterday for the most part. He tired quite quickly. And I do wonder why Manu didn't get brought on ahead of Ugarte. But if you've got Casemiro there, you've at least got a better baseline than what you've got in goal. So it's probably football on that basis.
What are you saying, Chatty Patty? Could the goalkeeping mistake yesterday be clouding people's mind? Is the midfielder more important over the course of the season?
I didn't think your midfield was that bad yesterday. And to be fair, everyone says that Arsenal got the best midfield in the league, and they didn't outclass you guys. I thought you lot brought the game to Arsenal. You played well, deserved to win, if I'm being honest. I know I can never be 100% impartial because I'm a Spurs fan, but watching the game as a neutral, I thought you lot deserved at least something out of the game. And if it wasn't for the goalkeeping mistake, you would have at least walked away with a point. Because other than that, Arsenal didn't really create anything. I don't remember your goalkeeper making a top draw save. I don't really remember them putting the pressure on or like turning the screw as the game got later on for the second or third. So I do think it's football. It's a fact. With a better goalkeeper, you at least get a point out of that game. So for me, you definitely need to hit the market. I'll go all out if I were you guys for Donnarumma. Why not? And then you can really push on because the United team and squad isn't as bad as people are making it out to be. With a full summer that Amarin's had, and you've got quality and depth in there, like you know your Mainus and your Amads that didn't start. There is some quality in that team. But it's just the goalkeepers, man. They're just none of them fill me with any confidence. So you definitely need to get a better keeper.
Patrick raises a really good point. Donnarumma is a fantastic goalkeeper, and Manchester United should definitely sign him so that he doesn't come to my club. And
Yeah, definitely.
No. I think that over the course of a season, I think the correct answer is fiction. I think that the way that Amorim plays, like the ridiculous reliability on those individuals in the center, I think that it makes sense in this scenario to invest more so in the midfield. I think over the course of a season, that will pay more dividends based on how Amorim likes to set up. So that's the way I would go. Of course, in an isolated incident, against Arsenal, of course, like a better goalkeeper would have been better. I just think like net over the course of a season, probably a midfield upgrade is going to be more transformative for United than a goalkeeper. That's what I would say to that.
I'm saying you need a keeper. So I'm saying football, because I look at Man United yesterday and I thought you were so unlucky not to come away with anything. I thought Brian and Bruno looked amazing. Going forward, you look like you can score goals. So it's no good if you can score goals if your keeper then is going to let them in. I look at your keepers and I look at Sanchez from Chelsea, and I think you both got decent squads, but the keeper is nowhere near good enough. So in the long run, I think Man United will score far more goals than they did last year. But if you don't get that keeper position sorted, you're going to concede a hell of a lot of goals. And I know people are saying Donnarumma, but you've also got Martinez from Villa that you was linked with ages ago, and then it kind of died a death. I don't know what happened there, but I mean, he's a massive improvement on what you've got. So, yeah, for me, you definitely need to get yourselves a new keeper.
Yep, it's football, man. It's definitely football, man. It's the goalkeeper over the midfielder all day, every day. Yesterday, whether people like it or not, whether you had rose-tinted glasses on, you had Arsenal tinted, I don't care what prescription you had on. Man United dominated Arsenal almost start to finish. And Bayern came up with promises, and he delivered on those promises. He promised United, I'm going to let you down again. And unfortunately, he delivered. And it is heartbreaking. I'll be honest with you, it's heartbreaking. And it has to be football because Terry have been on football. And I can tell you categorically, looking at the goalkeepers last season, right? 13 clean sheets was what won last year, right? Which is Raya. So he's the standard in the Premier League for goalkeeping. Robert Sanchez, though people laugh at him so much, got 10 clean sheets. But do you know what also Robert Sanchez had? 5 unforced errors, right? Like tennis, leading to goals, 5. Do you know the only other goalkeeper in the league that had 3 errors leading to goals? It was Onana. So if Onana is already a problem and Bayande is the replacement, you have to understand. Scrap that position at all costs. Midfield will survive. Because like we said, you're going to get goals. Now Šeško's here, now Mbeumo's here. You saw Cunha yesterday. We didn't even have to jump into that because it's not about that, yeah? You're going to score goals. What you need is trust. I never saw this kind of like this combobulation in United's defense when De Gea was here. De Gea made all kinds of mistakes at times. Through the legs, he'll let one in tight bottom corner. But even still, he transmitted trust throughout the squad. It was only the latter 1 or 2 years when people were like, oh, he's a problem. Okay, well, we've seen problems and we know what problems are. Problems are Bayande and Onana. They're not De Gea. So it's the keeper that needs to be sorted. The midfield will survive. The midfield actually, that has been said, played really well yesterday. But if you don't get a goalkeeper you can trust, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Defenses win titles.
Yeah.
So
they do, right? So I've got a side. Listen, I think you've all made some really good points, but I've got a side with Nobbins here, and I've got to say to that statement, it's right. It's both.
Hold that. Tom.
It's right. It's right that it's both. But a big up to everyone who's coming over from MHF. Big up yourselves. Thank you. It's right that Tom says it's both, but this is the beauty of this new show. It's you have to answer the exact question.
that's what I'm saying.
And for the exact question, I would go the mid. I would still side with the midfielder because I worry about the consistency of it. That would still mean accepting that we're probably going to drop 10 to 12 points because of
who do you start then? Who's your starting goalkeeper out of the lot?
Tom Heaton.
What, no banner? You're being serious?
No, Terry.
Tom Heaton's a steady Eddie. He was good at Burnley how many years ago now?
Come on.
Honestly, it would be Onana because Onana is a better goalkeeper than Bayandere. He does make the mistakes as well. The saddest bit is about the stats for errors leading to goals. Bayandere gets one yesterday because when he sort of went to get the ball, it touched his hand. Do you know the scariest part of stats? If he would have completely missed it and it went straight in the back of the net, it doesn't count as an error.
Yeah.
Which is why Onana and Bayandere have many more errors leading to goal-scoring opportunities and goals. Last season, when Gibbs White, sorry to mention his name, Spurs fans, when he shot at our goal and Onana dived the opposite way, we all as football fans go, that's an error. Why are you diving the wrong way? The stats don't show it as an error leading to a goal.
Oh.
Right, so Onana's got more than what the stats are telling me. There's more errors that Onana's made.
I'm thinking.
There are far more.
This picture for me.
There are far more.
Right, I need a midfielder ahead of that.
But I still listen. And this is the thing, right? It's maybe where my mindset's different to a lot of United fans. I suppose you can make the argument that if you go for a goalkeeper and get a good one, you fix a complete position because it's the only area on the pitch where you only need one person of a world-class level. Like in a sense of you can fix that department by buying one. So you don't have any worries there anymore. Where with midfield, even if today Brighton change their mind and we get Belieber, we still over the next 2 or 3 years need 2 or 3 more. You need 4 or 5 top quality midfielders. I think we have a couple, but we need at least 3 more. So you're still going to have holes in the midfield, but the lack of legs worries me. It does worry me. That first half Arsenal counter-attacked. We shut the lines off well. We defended brilliantly. Will we get away with that all the time? I'm not too sure. I want a bit more legs in there. I get why everybody's saying football and saying, no, keeper is the right thing. I'm not going to allow... I could be wrong, and I'll always hold my hands up when I'm wrong, but I can't allow I've got to go with my gut feeling on this, if that makes sense. And right now, my gut, it's in pain thinking about no additional midfield players. Although I wouldn't cry if we bought a new goalkeeper because yesterday, I agree with you, Kate. And, you know, it is my club, so I know I have a bias when it comes to it. But I watched the extended highlights of the game back. And honestly, I couldn't work out exactly why I was angry yesterday. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was just angry. And then me and Staffy were talking today, and it's always good to speak to people about stuff because it kind of brings clarity. I was angry not because we lost. I was angry because we didn't win. If that makes sense. I felt we deserved something from the game. And we played at the attack. I watched the game back and I was watching our attacks and I'm like, how have we not scored? And a lot of that was Arsenal's brilliant defending, Arsenal's brilliant goalkeeping. But I think if you replayed that game again and every pattern of play was the same, every incident was the same, the only things that would potentially change is the shots on goal. I think Man United would walk away the winners at least 7 out of 10 times if that flow of play went that way again. All that being said, I've got to go with my gut, the same as I went with my gut when it came to needing strikers first. Because I've got something on Man United to show you guys. And I only saw this after the game yesterday. And I can't lie, people. I'm going to upload these in a second. This made me want to cry. And this is why and look, we don't know whether the new guys are going to buck this trend.
There's going to be more pictures of Bayandere showing in his own net.
Yeah, it's Bayandere in his pants. No, it's not. This is a Man United fan made me cry, and I know the midfield's important. I know the goalkeeper's important. But I'm putting this up because I'm going with my gut on midfield again, for whatever reason, being slightly more important. Because all summer, when people said to me, "You need midfielders more than strikers," I was like, "No, there's something about that statement that makes me feel a bit nauseous." Even though we need midfielders, and then I saw these stats that I never knew about.
Wait, cry laugh or cry sad?
Cry sporting depression.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I mean? Contemplating life. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, now these are facts here. Man United haven't had one single player score 20 or more league goals. You look at City and Liverpool on this. I mean, Spurs, to be fair, that's phenomenal at 7. Arsenal, Chelsea, and Leicester, I still wouldn't even say is that good at 3 in 13 years. But Man United have had 0 players accomplish that.
They got
horrendous. Southampton there. Forest last season. Woods off to a good start. Now, this is even more sobering.
Nottingham Forest were only in the division for 3 years as well.
I know.
Oscar goal is nuts.
Now, this here, okay? So, Anthony Martial...
Oh my gosh.
And Ibrahimovic because he hurt his knee. He's the only player on here, and maybe Cavani because he was free. But if you look at our
Sanchez is free as well.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Our major attacking signing since Fergie retired. Hundreds of millions of pounds spent. 63 goals from Martial, fairly good. Lukaku, to be fair, in that first season was good, but you start looking at those numbers. You look at the people bought them in the last few years. You know, the Xerxes and the Antonys. I mean, even Ahmad, who I rate, by the way, and, you know, Ahmad's was a lower cost, still has got to start scoring more, has to start scoring and adding more goals to his game. The return on investment on attackers for Man United, when you look at both these graphs, is ridiculous. And that was why and again, Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško have got to deliver. But I understood why we went for them first, because the squad needs an overhaul. We need goalkeepers, we need midfielders, we need defenders still, most likely as well. But attackers out of every position, and I know people like Staffy, and I use Staffy as the example because we talk a lot on these. I get why a midfielder is important, but we need to add goals to this team. We needed, because yesterday was an example, and we weren't quite good enough, but I believe the goals will come. You could see how much better our attack was. Having an attack that forces a team to sit back helps you with your midfield holes and problems. It really, really does. So I'm going to go with my gut on this one again about the goalkeeper and say midfield is still next for me, because it means we'll face less problems going towards our goal, if that makes sense, and then fix it later. But mate, go on.
If you're going to look at it either way, would you rather have inconsistency in midfield or inconsistency in goal? Because the way I look at it, your goalkeeper is your ultimate floor raiser. United could have a good midfield, and you would still concede a hell of a lot of goals if your goalkeeper's not reliable. If you've not got the best midfield, but you've got a good goalkeeper, you can somewhat alleviate that. The problem right now is you've got a bad midfield and a bad goalkeeper. So you combine the problems together, it blows up in your face. If you get a good goalkeeper in, I mean, yesterday is instantly from a loss to a draw. I'm not going to say it's a win because, you know, the goalie's not going to score, but it goes from a loss to a draw, and all of a sudden the feeling's a lot better. How many games last year did you lose by 1 goal, or did you draw? And you look at it and the keepers cost you. And in reality, that's where the biggest point, that will raise your floor, which puts you into a higher point.
Yes, but with a better midfield, with the attack we've bought, if we maintain more of the ball, pin our opponents back, allow less opportunities on goal, create more chances and score more goals, I think it's United were never going to be fixed this summer. Your point holds water, but I look at it the other way. I want to mitigate risk in the other way around by essentially trying to outscore more teams and be more dominant in the midfield.
But you didn't necessarily struggle yesterday in terms of creating chances. You created a lot of decent chances. I do and that was without Šeško, who
I agree.
Šeško on the pitch.
The midfielder that we've been linked to today, Kwess, is Adam Wharton. Do you think he's the right type of profile to pivot to? Because we are going to go back in for Belieber next summer, most likely. Is someone like an Adam Wharton the right guy? For me, he's like the reincarnation of Michael Carrick.
Yeah, hey, listen, whatever team Adam Wharton goes, I'll be honest, and they can flame me in the comments if they want to. If I saw Adam Wharton in a Real Madrid shirt, I wouldn't be surprised. That guy is levels. And the thing is, he's calm. He never looks out of play. Sorry. He never looks rushed. He never looks like he's being forced to do something he can't do. He always looks at the right pace. He's always in the right place as well, playing the right ball. Listen, I would take Adam Wharton at Chelsea. I would take him over Enzo Fernandez. I wouldn't take him over Caicedo because Caicedo's the truth. But I would take him at Chelsea. I think he would easily slot in at Man City. I don't actually think there's a team in the league he wouldn't get into. I know Liverpool fans will scream Gravenberch. Gravenberch, who is Wharton? Okay, yeah, but I'm glad you said it because we would have had a war because he's the guy. If United get him, then what I say is you're definitely building in the right direction. And actually, me personally, I would say that sort of player is more essential to you than a Belieber, I think. Because I think yesterday, watching them, it was clear you needed somebody just to pick up, head up, play. Pick up, head up, play. I'm not sure necessarily. I've said it before. I'm not sure that's what Believer does well. I think he's a break-up kind of guy. But if you get Wharton, yeah, second return of Carrick, absolutely, boy. Yeah, he's a serious player.
Yeah, I agree. I rate him. I really rate him. I think he's such a good.
I don't think he goes to some of them. No. I just think Palace are losing too many pieces this summer to justify letting them go. I think it'll be next summer. And I struggle to see which club won't be in the market for him. Yeah, I think every single team, bar maybe Arsenal because they've got Rice and Zubimendi, but I think every top team in the Premier League and a number of top teams in Europe will be looking at that man because all the qualities you want from a modern defensive midfielder, he's got an abundance,
and he's so young as well.
No, I agree. Do you know what I like about him? I like him because. I'm liking the praise he's getting now. It reminds me of Michael Carrick. When Michael Carrick was at West Ham, I remember this vividly. Everyone was like, oh my God, who's this player? Spurs got him, and everyone was like, oh my God, who's this player? Man United signed him. Oh, he's shit, isn't he? I always remember that the opinions on him, and social media didn't even, it's just like people you would talk to. Does that make sense? So he doesn't do anything. He doesn't score screamers. You don't do this, you don't do that. And I was like, yeah, that was when I realized the English football palette back then was so unseasoned. This country did not respect players like Michael Carrick. In fact, Modric wasn't that rated in England. People were like, nah, he's all right. He didn't get I'm telling you, when he first went to Spurs,
they never rated him.
They didn't even rate him in Spain the first fucking year he was there. It's like people don't recognize I always call them the gravy. They're the gravy on a roast dinner. They're not. No one ever speaks about the gravy. No one ever cares about the gravy. But when it's good, the rest of that dinner tastes perfect. It's what Jimbo tells me. He says, that's why my Sundays are always ruined, because that gravy's crap. He says, Kate, that's bad gravy. Plain bisto, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Turkey gravy on beef. No, I'm messing, right? But I was saying, now Jimbo said your cooking's great. But from my point of view, I really want him. But I don't think it will happen this summer, unfortunately. And but
he can't lose that many players, Terry. It's too much, right?
No, but the only other way, because I have to admit something I got wrong earlier this summer. Because obviously we've all seen the Wissa news today, right? That Wissa's unfollowed. It's like a breakup. He's unfollowed. He's deleted pictures.
Yeah,
Wissa is doing an Alexander Isak, and part of me kind of finds there's a beautiful irony in this. And I know Newcastle fans are condemning it. I know you are publicly, but I also know in his first game when he scores his first goal, it's going to be woo. None of you are going to be like, all right, cheering because he's a bad man. Like, let's be fair. All of us are like that. But mate, I said earlier in the summer, I don't care if Newcastle go for Wissa, it won't impact the Mbeumo deal. I was wrong. These guys are really basically saying it isn't even about finding a replacement, it's finding a good enough replacement and then getting the valuation met. I'm so glad we got it done first. My only other thought is this: go to Palace now with an offer they can't refuse, which also stops fucking Eze leaving. That is what I would like. That as a fan, I'm not sure, there may be no grounds in reality for that, but as a fan, that's the kind of move that one, I'd be excited about the player, and two, I'd be like, we're stuck it to some rivals, because Spurs for me, and this kind of brings the segues nicely into the next fact or fiction question. And I'm going to ask this first to Nobbins. All right. So, fiction or football? Tottenham are looking stronger than Arsenal at the start of the season and could overtake them if they sign Eze.
Oh, I was enjoying the start of that bit, but no. Now, fiction. I'm a big fan of Thomas Frank. I think I pushed for him to be the United manager when Ten Hag was still in charge. So everyone knows I've got a big Frank agenda. I like the transfer window that Spurs. I like the transfer business that Spurs are doing, trying to get Savio, getting Kudus, trying to get Gibbs White, etc., etc. But I think their ceiling is probably like what 5th to 7th this season. I think that'll be a very good season for them as well, considering last year they finished 16th, something like that. They're thereabouts. So sorry, I was
17th.
I was trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
So that'll be a pretty massive leap, because if the flip side to that is Arsenal are going to regress even further, then it would have to be like a sort of like Leicester like flip of going from like just above relegation zone to like up there at the top of the table. I think Spurs will be very good this year. I think they'll be solid under Frank. I think that everyone will now hopefully see how wonderful he is as a manager and as a tactician. But as I say, I think right now, let's not get giddy. The ceiling is about 5th, I would say. That's where I've personally predicted them to finish. And I've got a very big Frank agenda. So I think I'm being generous there. And Arsenal aren't finishing below 3rd. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think it's a lot closer than what people realise. I think Thomas Frank is a big boost, because I think that Tottenham squad has got a bit of a bad rep over the last couple of years because of the way Postecoglou plays. That Tottenham squad, when you look at it on a pure ability level, there's a fair amount in it. And a lot of these are younger players who I think are going to kick on under a manager who's got a really good nous for developing these younger players. I mean, I looked at the Tottenham midfield over the last couple of games. Archie Gray and Pat Matar-Sarr, that is a ridiculous pivot in terms of what they can do as footballers. I mean, your fullback options are pretty solid. I think it's all going to come down ultimately, because I think Eze amplifies a lot of the creativity problems that I think they've had. I think Solanke and Richarlison, if he stays fit, that is Richarlison, is a very good striker rotation in terms of they both do different things, but it's what you might need in certain games. Kudus has started like a house on fire, but he was always a good footballer, and you've got decent backups for that. I still think that they could do with one more attacker, potentially, but I think for Tottenham, it's ultimately going to come down to the fitness of your defence. If Mickey van der Ven is still... If Mickey van der Ven's injury problems were down to Postecoglou, and playing a more calm, more composed system under Thomas Frank, he can give you 30 games a season, I think Tottenham can run it mighty close, because I'm a big fan, just off the amount I've seen so far, of what Frank Scott is doing. Now, the flip side is, once Mikel Arteta, there's a bigger sample size for Arteta and Arsenal, where it clicks. But the question marks I have for Arsenal at the minute are more than what I've got for Tottenham. Mainly because there's higher expectations for Arsenal. But I do wonder if this is the season for Arsenal where it's just a little bit slow and a little bit off the pace after 3-4 years of really pushing, taking it as far as they can, time and time again. If this season it's just a bit of a drop off, and it brings them into a race with Tottenham, who just have minimal pressure, that new manager, bounce, all the positivity around the football club at the minute because they've just come off a trophy win. So I think this season's basically going to be an extended honeymoon. I think it can run mighty close.
Have Arsenal gotten worse though, Tom? They haven't gotten worse, have they?
I wouldn't say they've gotten worse.
They've gotten better, haven't they? Surely.
In a sense, yes, but I think that's a little bit sort of, because I just liken it to what other clubs have been through. So when you've had drop-offs in the past, I'd argue in the summers you got stronger. But it's just these things happen in the season, or the mentality that has been there for so long, for some reason just isn't there, and it goes. And even though on paper you're stronger, in reality you look weaker. It was the same with my team for a couple of years as well. I think the same could happen for Arsenal here, potentially, just because this would be the 4th year of this title push thing. I don't know many teams that have been able to keep it going that long at that higher level. Now, maybe it was last season was that drop off, but I don't. A part of me thinks it wasn't, just because of the way the manager was treating it. So, just going off past experiences in the last 5, 6, 7 years, teams struggle to keep it going for 5, 6, 7 years. I think this year, with the change up top for Arsenal, with the fallout from the injuries last year, I wouldn't be shocked if this is a year where Arsenal are just a little bit off the boil, and that opens the door for Tottenham to run it a little bit closer.
I'm going fiction on this one. Sorry to jump in, but I think pound for pound, if you
all right, Henry Wright. Sorry, Kate. Sorry.
That's worse than the gravy insult. Let me just say, pound for pound, if you put our teams next to each other, Arsenal have got a better squad than us. But I think if we can add an Eze and another player on the wing, I think you could argue our attack is far stronger than Arsenal's. But it's our defence. We haven't got the strength in depth. I know Tom just touched on it. I mean, we've had the good news today that Romero signed a new contract till 2029. So we know we've got him. We've got the likes of Danso, who has come on and hit the ground running. But I just think we're a little way off yet. I don't think we're miles apart. I think Ange played us in a way that made our team look far worse than it is. But I do think Arsenal, I think in with 3 years, if we go on the trajectory, I expect us to go on with Frank. If we constantly invest every window, I think it could happen. But at the minute, I don't think we're ready just yet.
Yeah, just to chip in with that, I think it's fiction as well. As much as I'd love to sit here and say fact, and Arsenal are, they're one of the best teams in Europe, and they've been there or thereabouts for the last 3 or 4 years. This is a brand new regime, brand new manager, a lot of new players. There's a lot that's got to happen for us to surpass a really good team. And I look at Arsenal yesterday, and as much as the identity, it's a bit weird what they're doing. But then also you've got to remember they've got a brand new striker. They need to bed him in. It's going to take a while for them to get used to having a focal point in the actual number 9. When for the last couple of years they've done the whole false 9 thing, Gabriel, Nketiah, Havertz. So that will take time. And you saw that yesterday. They didn't look like they had played together. But we're a long way off that, finishing 17th last season. And like Kate said, with a lot of players that were played at a position, need to find their confidence again, trust in the manager, trust in the system. But I do think the Tottenham squad is a lot better than what people have given us credit for. But then also, I do understand why people haven't given us credit. When you finish 17th and lose 22 games, that's a big bounce back. So, yeah, as much as I'd love to agree with Tom, I still think there's a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm probably going to echo the same sentiment, man. Like, I'd love for it to be football, but I mean, obviously, if you're taking it just on the results yesterday, then Tottenham are looking better than Arsenal, yes. But unfortunately, like you guys have just said, Tottenham are just restarting their project. So there's no way they're going to be where Arsenal are now. And actually, I'm kind of glad you showed the Sky Sports thing earlier, because those seasons, 13, 14, up until Kane left, is because they had players like Kane, Ali, Eriksson in that squad, and Lucas Moura, who a lot of Spurs fans don't give a lot of love to, but they had these players that were similar to the level that Arsenal have in their squad now, where you've just got game changers all over the pitch, and that's how they were able to reach that level. And they had a world-class keeper in Lloris as well. Whereas I think looking at the Spurs squad now, they're definitely stronger. Like you can't really say then, like, if they're top 5, top 6 this year, I'm not surprised, but you can tell like they're missing a few pieces. And I'm glad the point about depth was made, because I remember just watching the game and thinking, you know what? See Van der Ven, yeah, I think he's world class right now. But if he gets injured, that could be Tottenham's season done, because he's just that good. So this is definitely fiction. Definitely fiction.
Spencer here said it's been one bloody match. So let me also bring the concept of fictional football to life. I take claims from big accounts, small accounts that have trended over the weekend, and we turn them into questions and talking points. And I also agree that this is fiction. I think that Eze will go to Spurs. I think Arsenal are absolutely crazy. They're either crazy or they have an almighty trump card, an ace up their sleeves. And I don't know who's going to understand this reference. I gave it yesterday and it fell flat on the younger audience. It's going to remind me of when Del Boy beat Boise at poker all those years ago on Only Fools and Horses, that where he's got 3 kings and then he goes, I've only got 2 pair, and it ends up being 2 aces. Arsenal have got to do something like this. And I say that not because Spurs are going to finish ahead of them this year. I don't think that's going to happen. But Eze is a game changer. And if it wasn't for the implementation of a 6-year-old rule that no one even knew existed. Crystal Palace, because of an Eze free kick, beat Chelsea yesterday. And he is such an important part of that team. Yes, they're 9 games unbeaten. They've won FA Cup semi-finals, finals, and Community Shields. The semi-final and the final, this man scored 2 screamers to help his team win. He has got everything, clutch moments, winning goals, can transition, can play with the ball at his feet, can run, he's got pace. This is a game-changing signing for Tottenham Hotspur, and I think will be one of the best signings their club has made since Son. And you've had a few good signings since then. In the attack as well, I can't think of anyone you've signed since Son that's going to be as good as this.
Kudus.
Mohamed Kudus could be, yeah. I'm actually thinking of previous summers. Kudus is brilliant. I love watching him at the weekend. I'm so annoyed he's gone to Tottenham. At West Ham, he weren't really a threat. Do you know what I mean? He's just there. But I knew that he was going to come to your club and take football more seriously, because why wouldn't you? Like, the step up from like West Ham to Spurs, you know, sometimes people go, oh, you know, Spurs to a Liverpool or Spurs to United is a big jump. It's true, but it's the same of West Ham to Tottenham. Like, these jumps existed at all levels of football. And you are such a big... I know West Ham fans won't like me saying it, but Spurs are just so much bigger. And I know they won the Conference League in recent years. That gave them a little bit of... The fact you went and done the Europa League 2 years later, it just quietens your little puppies down again. But yeah, look, this is a great changer, but they're not going to catch, you know, Arsenal. Yes, they look better than Arsenal in the opening game. I also think as well, a lot of the Spurs fans online I saw saying this, you played Burnley at home. They did go to United away. And as much as people want to attack Arsenal and slag it off, they've only won 5 times at Old Trafford in about 30 odd years, and all of those results have been 1-0. There's a weird sort of kooky thing about that.
100%. And you should have beat them yesterday, which annoyed me. You should have beat them. Yeah. You should have beat them, man. So frustrating.
But do you know what I find a little bit disingenuous from the Arsenal thing about we've not won at Old Trafford? Is I've seen a lot of them say Chelsea fans shouldn't pipe up though because they've not beaten Arsenal in how long. So it's like, okay, well, if we're using we batter you lot, but we shouldn't be winning at Old Trafford because we don't win at Old Trafford. It's like, well, don't hold on a minute. You guys are the ones saying we're pushing Liverpool, we're pushing City. Shouldn't you beat a 16th, 15th place team that are struggling, that don't have a good keeper, that need 2 more midfielders, that have a manager that squats and is stressed out every week? I'm not cussing him. I'm just saying, yeah? Shouldn't you? But realistically, if you're doing Champions League finals, shouldn't they go... We're not talking about, look, that's not what we're discussing. So let me chill. Let me just focus on Spurs. Yeah. I just think, if they sign Eze, see that North London derby, it could be sticky for Arsenal because Eze really is the guy to take a game by the scruff of its neck, brush off Odegaard and Rice in midfield, and slap it bottom bins, and the whole of the Emirates is quiet.
He was so good yesterday, Eze, against Chelsea.
He's
in the form of his life.
There was a moment he had the free kick, which was ruled out for a stupid reason. But there was a moment out on the left in the first half where he chases down this ball and Reece James goes out to him and he megs Reece James, and then he nearly gets past the midfielder who's come over and Reece James has to pull him down. He looks so effortless while doing it, and you're going, if you're putting that in a Tottenham team, which, you know, I think that if you're putting Kudus around them, Tottenham should be trying. I know that it looks like Savio's not going to happen now, but if they can go and get another top left winger of an ilk, they put him on the left with Kudus on the right, and you're basically telling Eze, do what you want to do. We're going to give you all the runners around you. That's got real potential to be terrifying for the rest of the league, especially when you've got strikers like Richarlison and Solanke, who, yes, they're not 25 goal a season guys, but they're both decent enough finishers. And the fact you've got 2 of them means that when one of them is not playing well, you can put the other one in, which is a luxury that not many teams do have. So in theory, Tottenham can score a lot of goals this season. But the big thing for me and why I'm giving them a big element is I maybe, again, people might jump on me and go, PSG weren't great and all that, but Tottenham looked quite hard to beat in that Super Cup until Tottenham came through. Yeah. For 85 minutes, I saw a lot to like about that Tottenham performance, and then Tottenham came through. Have
you guys not noticed this, though? And this is where I love the social media world that we have all helped to create and forge. And It was never a job. It was barely a hobby when we first started. It was one of those weird things. I'd say to like friends of mine, family members, what are you doing tonight? I'm watching United game. Are you coming out afterwards? No, I'm jumping on a stream to talk about it with other people. People are like, you weirdos. Like that's how this was treated. I'm very proud of what we've forged and created, where it feels normal to do this now. And no one goes, oh, really? But that being said, and I blame the Manaverse for this, people come out with some of the weirdest things now. You mentioned that Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs being hard to beat and the performance being good. People are like, yeah, the last 5 minutes happened, so the rest of it means nothing. And I'm like, hang on, we can't start redefining how we've always viewed football. Performances were always an important part. No, Jose, look at his peak Chelsea team. All it was about was winning. No, but that winning happened because of the consistency of their solid defensive performances. No team that's ever been successful did it without being hard to beat, without having a consistency of performance. Just like yesterday. I'm not happy because we lost. That is such a low IQ, disingenuous manosphere sort of, I've got to project I'm a winner because I'm a proper man. That, you know, those little geezers, that for me, adolescence settings, you know what I'm saying? That for me is what I get from that kind of talk now. It's all a little bit performative, a little bit crazy. Performances really matter. And I've watched Spurs in their first 2 games. And yes, Burnley really attacked. And Burnley are a little bit of an unknown entity because there hasn't been the level of scouting into them as there has been PSG. And Spurs were very difficult to beat in both. Spurs scored goals. Spurs looked dangerous. And they're still going to add a player or two to their attack. And if you're not taking those first 2 performances seriously, and if you're going to ignore the fact that Thomas Frank knows 1 week I'm going to be pragmatic, the next week I'm going to attack. He understands who he's going up against, can adapt in games. That is exactly what Tottenham need. Tottenham don't need a manager that can only operate if he's got one of the best squads in the league and has an endless supply of money, pound for pound, compared to the league that they're in. That's what Conte needed. That's what Jose in his peak needed. And Spurs are not that club right now, and that's fine. So what you need is a manager that suits you. And I think Thomas Frank is amazing. No, I don't think that you're going to finish above Arsenal because Arsenal are in this title race, and I don't think Tottenham are. But Tottenham are going to, unless people get with a program and accept it early, Spurs are going to shock a lot of people this year, get a lot of good results. And Eze, it's going to be one of the signings of the season. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. Let's do some super chats here, people. This here says, who was better this weekend, Eze or Semenyo?
Semenyo.
Semenyo.
I've got to go with
Semenyo. There's so many problems. Semenyo was horrible to play against.
I love that guy.
He's a good player, man. He's a good player. I'm surprised no one's really gone in for him. I know
he signed a new deal.
He rejected it. He rejected it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought
Man United were losing early.
He might go next season, but he's locked in, man.
Yeah, he's locked in for this year. He ain't going nowhere. This Chelsea fan still talking after yesterday is what Carmelo says.
Yep, still talking because we've won trophies and you ain't. And until you do, you'll still be stressed and anxious and upset that we're talking about you. So do your job and we'll do our job. Do you do your job?
No money spent in midfield would have stopped that goal.
Can I dispute that?
Yep.
The corner was created because Bruno Fernandes, not an 8, was in the 8th position, and he passed it back to Euro when that pass was not supposed to happen, thereby leading to the corner. If he had natural 8 in there, he would have known to have not passed it back.
But then Nobbins, if they buy one midfielder, which was what the argument was, Fernandes still plays in the 8 because Hammerham's got a weird fetish for it.
Not if they play Adam Wharton, though.
It depends who we buy. If you buy Belieber, maybe. If you buy Adam Wharton, not so much. That being said, I think every player in that position should just clear their fucking lines.
Indeed, yeah. I don't know what Bruno was doing.
That was
you need that Sunday league saying, if in doubt, out. Do you know what I mean? Just still 0-0, boys. It's still 0-0. Shut up. It's 8-0, mate. What are you talking about? I always remember my coach, we were winning 8-0 once, right? And he kept on shouting, still 0-0. And one of our players, I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Carl. He just literally shouted, shut up, you tit. It's 8-0. Like, we should be allowed to have a little bit of fun now. It's 8-0 with 8 minutes to go or something stupid. It's not bloody 0-0. Oh, I love Sunday League, man. Buy a keeper and Lidl buy midfield players. Lidl? I mean, Lido.
Like Aldi.
Yeah.
Have you just incredibly misspelt wait?
I don't even No.
See, when people misspell things, I don't know whether they've misspelled it or my dyslexia is having a.
I was about to
having a
say.
spaz out. I'm like, the alarm goes off. Nomad here says, happy with the win. Don't care about the performance. Happy United is different this season, not because I like you guys, but because a lot of teams will lose points against them, and we didn't. Come on, you gooners. Look, I think Arsenal fans can be relaxed about the performance because you know what your team is capable of, and everyone can have days where they're not at their best and get stopped by other sides. For me, I am happy with the performance, not the result, because we didn't have enough last year. Now what I'm looking at is now perform, because I think if we perform like that against Fulham away, and if we perform like that against Burnley at home in our next 2 games, there's a really good chance we pick up 6 points, like a really good chance. So because that type of performance will lead to more wins than Arsenal's performance yesterday will lead to wins over the course of 38 games. So I think both things there can be true. Leo here says, agree performance was poor, but disagree with people saying it's the same style. There was a big emphasis first half on creating more transitions. We did, but the execution was terrible. Mikel Arteta had to adjust in the second half.
Yeah, he's right. United play well. So Arsenal got the job done, but United play well.
Saw a crazy stat earlier that in Arsenal's last 53 Premier League away games, leading at half-time, they've only lost once at Everton in 2001. Testament to the defence. It's why what I won't have, anyone who's allowed to say what I won't say Arsenal were lucky, because I don't. My logic is this: if their defenders making tackles and their goalie making saves is luck, then when you win a game by your striker scoring 3 goals, that's just luck as well, isn't it? Just luck that your striker is good at shooting on goal. I mean, again, those kind of comments, if you actually start to extrapolate them out, I know in primary school it's fine to go into school, go, you were lucky, but when you get to my age, I'm like, I mean, how lucky is City that they have a world-class squad? You're just lucky that you got Pep and got a world-class squad and brilliant owners. It's not you didn't really win anything, Nobbins. You're just lucky. Just lucky.
Big up to me.
But Terry, is it?
Well, that's what the L stands for in L Nobbins.
Lucky Nobbins. That sounds like an adult film.
Yeah,
Come join the adventures of Lucky Nobbins.
I was just gonna say though, yeah, could it also be true though that they weren't lucky to get the result in the end, but they were lucky. They were definitely lucky to get the goal. Like that, they didn't score that goal.
Maybe,
but they weren't lucky to hold on. Like they did their job.
You could argue that there was luck in that because the goalkeeper was soft. To be fair, so there is luck in that. The defensive elements, I would say, there's no luck in it though. Because we all do this. Whenever your goalie pulls off a brilliant save, you say, "What a save!" When it happens the other way around, you're like, "Why don't we finish that?" We all do it. But yeah, I think it's just a little bit over the top.
I mean, it was their goal really luck because Binder's done it like 4 times now. At this point, it's like
for you. Matt, I know there was a touch from the keeper, but that is forget the summer months, the 3 months off because there's no football, right? It's the 3rd time in 5 months of football that Man United have conceded direct from a corner.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, maybe we do need a new goalie. It's crazy. Josh here says, "I'm with Tom. They let a team that was 15th run right through them. Plus their pre-season wasn't good. While Spurs have a new manager with a new style and have already looked more gelled together than Arsenal." Can I ask you a question, though, Spurs fans, on this? Is there a little fear factor of what happened in the first 10 games of Ange where everyone wants to, like, that, even if you won your next 2 or 3, is there a little bit of, like, keep the powder dry, hold back?
I held back anyway. So
I know you did.
I don't think... I feel completely different with Frank than I did with Ange. I think it's already... we just look totally organised from front to back, and there's such a massive improvement. So I don't know about Patrick, but I don't fear it at all.
Nah, you know there's always going to be teething problems with a new manager, and obviously Frank coming in, I think he deserves his move. He's been a brilliant coach at Brentford for the last however long, and he's created some star players there. But yeah, I don't feel that nervousness and that edginess. And as you guys know, the Football Terrace fans that have been watching me on here for years knew I never liked Ange, and everything I've said about him came true in the end. I just didn't believe in him and his tactics and how he set the team up. And you don't get that with Frank. You can see he's adaptable. And it's early days though. It's only one game, so you can't go too crazy. Obviously, it's all banter said in jest, and it's great to hear it, but it's still very early. Let's see how we do at City on the weekend, and then obviously we'll have a bit more.
Oh shit! Yeah, City next game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
Got Newcastle,
City away,
Liverpool
man.
this weekend.
Yeah,
Whee!
City
I
away
love
on
this
Saturday.
back, man.
Some
I love
good
it.
games. Some good games.
Shout out to Amarim. Arsenal looked average. Next, thank you. Are Arsenal undoing? Sorry,
The wrong chandelier. Only falls in horses.
Love it. Love it. Brace yourself, Rodney. Oh, I love a bit of Only Fools. Once Cunha, Šeško, and Bumo gel, we're in safe hands. Like, I do think as well. First half, I agree. With a number 9 in that first half, we're scoring goals. I really do think we'd have scored some goals. But yeah, there are exciting things at United. We need some more players, but exciting. Fans are overanalyzing Arsenal's performance yesterday and reading too much into it. Now, I agree. I think not enough people are putting respect on how good United were and how much they stopped them. It's a bit like watching MVP versus Cannoneer or Shemaya versus Duplessis and just focusing on the guy that lost and saying they were nowhere near their best level. You're ignoring the fact that their opponent also played really well. And I think that's massively true. By the way, Terry, I have been critical of Ruben. Saw some triangles. The only mistakes he did yesterday was starting Delo and bringing on Ugarte, who took the dumbest shot ever. I disagree with the Delo situation though, because I think
Delo was all right.
So I thought we were. When I say disagree, let me flip reverse it. Let's say we started the game with less defensive-minded people on the more attackers, and that led to those counter-attacks working for Arsenal. Would have maybe said you're a little bit cavalier and you too ballsy, and there's a difference. But I was saying earlier, if Anthony Joshua offers me out and I square up to him and go, let's go, some people are going to say I was brave, right? Oh, fuck yeah, we're just going to fight AJ. When I get hit and I get put in a coma, some people are going to say, that was a bit silly, weren't it? They won't call me brave. And that's what happens in sport. You know, and we all review in hindsight, but the only thing I disagree on is Ugarte. It should have been Mainu. It shouldn't have been Ugarte. That gives us something different in the attack. But aside from that, I agree with you, my friend. Must be nice for Kate to see her friends again after having to hold the Spurs fought solo last year.
What's he trying to say?
Trying to say you bottled it, Patty. He's trying to say you bottled it, Sam.
He said you weren't with us shooting in the gym. That's crazy.
Them underhanded digs. Cheers, Jonathan.
Well, in fairness, it was Harry, and I don't know where young Daniel's gone. I have no idea where. I hope he's well and safe. He just disappeared off the face of planet Earth, and Harry he just disappeared. But no, most of the other Spurs fans were here. Right, next question. Fiction or football? Chelsea. I'm going to go to Patrick first on this. Chelsea have been overrated since winning the Club World Cup, and Crystal Palace proved it on Sunday.
Oh, what a question. What a question. That is so tough. Football or fiction? You can't go 50-50, can you? Can I call
No.
No, don't sit on the fence, Patty.
Hey, Chris Tarrant, I'm not Chris Tarrant.
I can't swing on you from here, bro.
I'm gonna go football with that. To be fair, I thought Palace looked really good. For Oliver Glasner had their number. If it wasn't for a rule that, like you said, Terry, it's never been incorporated before, they would have won that game. Didn't really create much. Cole Palmer's gone cold, as in like cold, as in not like that cold, the other cold, and he's literally dropped off a cliff. And yeah, they had nothing. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it's tongue-in-cheek, innit? Chelsea are a very good team, and maybe they will be back to their best. But as it stands right now, they haven't been that great.
I mean, did you see the mad Cole Palmer stat that he showed on the broadcast? He hasn't scored an open play goal since January 14th.
Which is crazy. That is
in the outside of the Club World Cup, obviously, which is, that's 8 months now. 8 months with no open play goal. That's a bit mad. I do think that the Club World Cup pushed Chelsea to a point which I don't think they're at yet. I would say it's slightly overrated them because, yes, it's a prestige. There was a lot of prestigious teams in the tournament, but Chelsea didn't play them. Chelsea played Brazil. Chelsea played pretty much every Brazilian team in Benfica. So if I was watching you get to the final where you were beating the Madrids, the cities of this world, then yes, it carries a lot more weight. he's went up against the PSG team that was shattered. And albeit I'm not trying to take away that he's beat PSG, because not many teams did last season, but PSG looked a bit goosed. You go into Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace are on a really good run of form. They're unbeaten in the last 10 games where they've played about every good team. They've played us twice. They've played City in that run.
Yeah,
in the FA Cup final.
Yeah, they embarrassed us.
I was saying good teams in that run. Patrick, we're not including Tottenham last season. But that's a 10-game stretch with a really impressive resume. And they went to Stamford Bridge. And bar the last 15 or so minutes where I thought it was a little bit hairy, they were in control, I'd say, for the most part. I didn't necessarily watch that game and think, the goal's coming for Chelsea. They're pinning them back. They're penning them in. It's a matter of time. I thought Estevao could have done something when he came on. He looked a bit bright at a couple of moments. But outside of that, it wasn't really anything mind-blowing from Chelsea. I thought João Pedro didn't get into the game at all. So Chelsea really struggled to keep much sticking up front. But I thought, what's his name? Achiampong, the young lad that you had to put in at centre-back, he was quite good. I was actually really impressed with what he done. But look, I personally, it's a rule. Some who must disagree with official rules, but I've never seen a free kick be disallowed for that. So I do think Chelsea got a little bit blessed on that front. I wouldn't say it's like massively overrated, but I do think certain players got put on a pedestal that they shouldn't necessarily be on, because that Club World Cup.
I'm going football. I'm not going fiction. I'm going football. I think the trouble with Chelsea is their fans, and I think some of the players in the club have got an inflated sense of their own importance and potential because of their previous history. They've got Caicedo, they've got Palmer, but I think when those two don't play really, really well, Chelsea don't look that good. I mean, for Palmer to ghost again at the weekend, which he did, to have not scored in the Premier League from open play in 8 months. I look at Chelsea and individually, they've got a lot of quality. The players on their own merit are very good. But when you put them all together, for me, it just doesn't work. I mean, they're meant to be World Cup champions, and they couldn't beat the Charity Shield winners at home. And they never really looked like they were going to beat them. So I think Chelsea have got to realise they're not what they were under Jose Mourinho. I still think they've got a fair way to go. And I do think that they literally live off of their history rather than the here and now. So, yeah, I'm going football with that one.
I think I've not done football yet. But I think I will now. Yes, in fact, I will. Yes. I think they are overrated because I've seen like lots of people suggest that Chelsea are going to be in a title race this season in the league. I just personally do not see that. I actually don't think that the Palace results mattered. Like Chelsea could have won that match, and I still would have thought the same. I think there's lots of good players in that squad. I think they have a midfield that can win the title. I don't think they have a defense that can win the title, and I don't think that they have an attack that can win the title either. I think that, just fundamentally, I think that they lack league title winning quality compared to the other teams who I expect to win the title. And again, that's not a dig. I still think they'll finish high up the table. I think they'll finish 4th, same as last season. But I just think that as things stand, there is a bit of a gap between, let's say, the favourites, Liverpool and Chelsea. I don't think they'll really be that close to Liverpool, to be honest with you.
What are you saying, Kwess? What are you saying about your club?
Hey, man, it's good to hear all this, man, because I store it like a hard drive. So I can remember to bring it up at the right time. So I like that where we started already. Tom said, PSG were tired, and Chelsea went to the same place in the Club World Cup. So it's no reason why Chelsea wouldn't be tired. But of course, PSG only lost because they're tired, not because they got, outplayed by a team that was just tactically better than them. Because of course, when we saw them have a couple SIS gel packets, that's why they beat Tottenham on penalties, not because Tottenham maps, you know, in the end were tired and couldn't keep up with PSG dominating them in possession the last 10 minutes, which is actually what happened. And it's I think what I like is I think Nobbins got a point. We're not title ready at all. I can fundamentally agree with that. Midfield is phenomenal, but yes, in attack, this is what I love. João Pedro 2 years ago was at Brighton, a year ago was at Brighton, whatever. No, he's not ready to win a title. Sure, that makes sense. Pedro Neto came from Wolves. He's not going to be ready to win a title. What I love is, though, people getting onto Palmer. This is a guy that everybody said, can Pep let him go? This is crazy. What's he doing? Came, lit up the league, won a trophy, individual trophy, by the way, won another individual trophy, then another individual trophy. But now, because he ain't scored, and the guy's like 23, by the way, he shouldn't even be doing this realistically. Everyone's saying, Cole Palmer, he's gone cold. Not even cold, he's defrosting. Apparently now, yeah. So what I love is that whatever happens, Chelsea can never do right. We're never going to win. So that's why I don't do what I feel other clubs do, where I don't gas us up too much. I've put us fourth this year. So I think what is happening to us is normal. I said this on the show the other day, the Chelsea reaction show. I said, Oliver Glasner came in a year ago, Feb 2024. Since then, Maresca's not beat him. That is a coach that has Maresca's number. But why should I be surprised that Oliver Glasner, a Europa League winning manager with Frankfurt, has a championship manager's number? At the end of the day, everyone told me last season Maresca's going to get sacked by Christmas. And yet he's still here, Club World Cup champion. So there's no amount of nuance on the internet I can provide for you. No foot mob stats, nothing that's going to satisfy the hatred in the heart of the fans that just dislike Chelsea. The truth is this: we're not ready, and that's fine. But even when we are ready, people will not want to accept that we're ready. So it's complete fiction. Crystal Palace didn't prove that we're not ready. Chelsea proved that we're not ready. Crystal Palace actually gave a really good account of themselves. And to say anything else is actually really, really a disrespect to Crystal Palace, because they're in the form of their lives. They dismantled Liverpool the other day. They dismantled City. And by the way, they've been doing it to Liverpool for years. I still remember Dwight Gale doing it and made Suarez cry, but we don't go back to them. We just focus on the future. You know what I'm saying? And focus on the present right now. But this is what Palace are doing, have done, and will continue to do if they keep Eze. So for me, unlike most other Chelsea fans, and I just done my first match reaction, I'm going to post it recently, so you can go check it out on my channel afterwards, right? But I said, listen, Chelsea fans shouldn't be angry. If you're angry, if you feel depressed, if you feel heartbroken, you're losing your mind. This is a championship manager with a lot of players that are playing like top 4, top 5 level for the first time in their lives. Nobody is going to come in the summer for Chalobah. Nobody in the summer is going to rate Colwill and want to buy him. Nobody rates Sanchez, even though he's like the 5th best goalkeeper in the league last season and we finished 4th. Nobody rates Reece James. They all say he's not better than Trent. He's not better than... And actually, bar one nutmeg pocketed Eze yesterday. No one's going to rate Cucurella, even though he's the best left back in the league. You can argue with me, but the stats are there. No one's going to rate Caicedo, even though he made it into the team of the season, but didn't get a Ballon d'Or nomination. Doesn't make sense to me. No one's going to rate Palmer, even though he came from City. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. He's lit up the league and everybody wants him to fail because they know if he succeeds, he is going to be one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen. So it's fiction, Terry. And that's all I have to say. Simple.
But you do agree Chelsea are overrated?
I was going to say.
No, I don't think we're overrated, because that wasn't what I was saying at all. I don't think we're overrated at all. I think we are where everyone thinks we're supposed to be. I think everyone actually thinks we're bad. But the only way to convince themselves that they're right about their opinion is to say that we're better than we are.
What do Chelsea fans think in the main, though? The Chelsea, most of the Chelsea fan opinion I've seen is that they're going to be in a title race.
But I don't know why. This is what I can't understand. I don't know.
Because you're overrated, perhaps.
No. Not because, I think people put us in there just because they want to. People want, listen, we all know the whole talk. 2 billion spent, 2 billion spent, 2 billion spent. Listen, you have to fork out 2 billion when the government tries to shut down your club. You have to do that. You have to do it. Tuchel was saying, listen, we're going to have to go on scooters.
I don't think they are overrated. I think they'll be in a title race, but then let me define what I mean by title race. I think they'll be within they'll have the ability to win it still with 6, 7, 8 games to go. I think they'll be there to that point and then not quite fade away. I think they are a very good team, Chelsea. I just think yesterday they came up against one of the hardest teams in the Premier League to beat and have been for many, many months. And it didn't quite click for them. But I think Chelsea are going to be in the top 4. I think they'll be in the top 4 quite comfortably. And I think they'll get better and better as the season goes on. They still are adding more players as well. And one of the conversations that have been happening today is Alejandro Garnacho is a player they're going to now be going back in for again to try and sign and try and bring in. Is that enough, Kate? Alejandro Garnacho, if you add him to that Chelsea attack, is that going to make them more potent?
Quite possibly, but I mean, they just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. I mean, eventually it's going to click, I suppose. If you just keep adding players, top players, it's going to click. But I mean, it struck me there that you just went round the houses to basically prove what we've just said. You've said, oh, we're not in a title race and we're not this and we're not that. And that's basically what none of us used the words Chelsea are bad. None of us said anything. We just said you're not as good as a lot of the Chelsea fans make out. And then you basically said the same thing.
No, because what I'm saying is people keep saying we should be there. We are there. What? Okay, so let's just make it clear. What I keep hearing, let me just say what I keep hearing. I keep hearing Chelsea should be because they spent all this money. I'm saying, but money doesn't mean that you're going to, if Crystal Palace spend 2 billion now and they go and buy a bunch of academy products, that's not going to put you in a title race. But people keep saying Chelsea should be, Chelsea are, they have to be, they need to speak with chest. And I'm saying, no, we're not. We're spending money wisely. When you spend money, you're going to buy some things not going to go well. You're going to buy some things that is going to go well. We are exactly where we need to be. We're not overrated. People just want to say we're overrated because we won the Club World Cup and we're there with chest saying we are Club World Cup champions. We are champions of the world. That is a fact. That cannot be argued with.
When your fans are in the stands singing, we've won it all, we've won it all, and you've got your star player Cole Palmer ghosting like an absolute.
Yeah, but what's going to happen when Kudus ghosts in 2 or 3 games? What are you going to say?
Oh, it's not. We don't talk like Chelsea fans.
You can't do. You lot are now singing. Oh well, we've got a title. Arsenal ain't. You lot are coming with chest now. All of a sudden, like they said in the comments. You was the only one here holding it down last season. Where was the Spurs fans?
That's not true.
They were recovering.
There was loads of Spurs fans here, including me.
You man was winning. I see you recovering, drip up, just licking your wounds, thinking. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, just like I think, you are a sensible Chelsea fan. I get that, but we're in a group chat where a lot of Chelsea fans are saying they're going to challenge for the league, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. We see it time and time again, and that's where I think the overrated stuff is coming from. You're coming with balanced views and opinions, and I get it, it's cool. But we're seeing so many Chelsea fans saying, "Yep, once we get this guy, we're going to win it all," or when we're going to, and it's just like. It's a lot. And obviously, when you spend £2 billion, there has to be some sort of pressure. There has to be.
Why?
So, why? Because you're spending countless amounts of money.
But if I spent £2 billion on players that never made a first team appearance, would you say that?
Yeah, but that's bad management then, isn't it?
But we're not arguing whether it's good or bad.
Recruitment. But if you're spending, typically, the teams that typically spend more, usually it equates to some sort of success. It has to. That's why you buy players, right? You buy players to improve your team, right?
But we're successful still. We came 6th and then came 4th and won 2 trophies and be the best team in the world. This is what I'm saying is crazy.
You spend shitloads of money. That's why you've spent so much money.
That's what I mean. That's completely disingenuous. To say that the reason why we beat PSG is because we spent loads of money is actually ridiculous.
It helps.
It is nuts.
It helps. The amount of money you spend on that first team, of course it helps you get to where you got to. You still got to put in the performances. You still got to have a manager that sets you up the right way, and that's cool. But without the players you spent the money on, you would never be there.
How much did Sanchez cost? No more than 30 mil. How much was Reece James? 3.
Yeah,
how much was Tosin? Hold on.
Those are one-offs.
No. But I'm talking. Let's just talk about that squad that was in the thing. Caicedo, fair enough. 100 mil. Everyone's got 100 mil to spend in them. Everyone's got 100 mil player in them. Maybe not Tottenham, but everyone's got 100 mil player in them. Yeah. So fair enough. Enzo, Caicedo, I'll give you. That's 200 mil. Crazy numbers. But Colwill, where did he come from? Academy. James, where did he come from? Academy. Tosin, 3. Chalobah, Academy. Cucurella, fair enough. 50, 60 mil. Fairs, I hear you. Everyone's got a 50, 60 mil fullback. Just ask Man City. They buy one every season.
Enzo, Caicedo, and Cole Palmer. That's pretty much what most Premier League football teams cost as a whole.
Yeah,
those
but
three
Palmer's
players.
like 35 mil from the academy, bro. Do you really expect him? No one has ever no one expected Cole Palmer to do what he did. And if Cole Palmer flopped, everyone would then use that as a reason to say, this is why Chelsea don't spend money well. So do you get what I'm saying? That it doesn't really matter what Chelsea say. There is no way that we can ever convince anybody that we're in the right here. It's always going to be Chelsea are wrong regardless. If we win, you spent the money. If we don't win, how can you say that you're a decent team because you don't win anything? It's nuts. It's actually nuts. Because actually, over the last 5 years, of us spending all this money, and if you want to include them years before we, the government tried to shut us down, right? We've been winning consistently. And even when we haven't been, even when we've been out of it, we've then taken 1 or 2 seasons to get right back to it and been in. The year we came 6th, we were in, what was it, 2 finals or 1 final? I think we only lost to Liverpool and everybody cussed us because we lost the kids.
Chelsea have got a history of winning. No one's disputing that. But what I'm saying is that the money you're spending is helping you to get to where you're getting to. That's all I'm saying.
But this is nuts because if you have it, you have to use it. It can't be a reason we're overrated because we're spending money to replace players that we've lost. We wouldn't have beat PSG with Mudryk and Madueke.
You've spent that much money. You should be winning the league. And you still look like you're a mile away.
But that's fine. You can argue that Chelsea spend or don't spend money. Fine, I hear that. But that's nothing to do with whether we're overrated or underrated, bro. Like at the end of the day, if I took 200 million and I bought a bunch of Hondas, it wouldn't make it any easier for me to win a race. If I take 200 grand and I buy 1 Mercedes, I've got a better chance. So I understand if you're telling us we're going and buying Mercedes every year, but we're not doing that. We just bought Bino Gittins. He's played his first game. He looks worse.
Bilbo Baggins.
Bilbo Baggins, whatever you want to say, all of that. I hear you, But at the end of the day, we're trying to build something. It takes time. Like we just bought Delap. Delap's not a Premier League ready 20-goal season striker. Like the facts. Pedro Neto was at Wolves. João Pedro's come from Brighton. Bino Gittins from Dortmund, and looks about 15. Like Caicedo and Fernandes, I hear you. And I can't ask for people to be more generous with Chelsea because I just know how it is with Chelsea. People are upset about Chelsea before they even start talking about Chelsea. And that's just the way it is. But it is completely disingenuous. We're not overrated. And if we are overrated, it's not because we're saying it. It's because you got people like Carragher on TV saying 2 billion spent, you have to be. Oh, okay. Well, then when we tot it up over the years and we see how much Liverpool has spent, how many more titles should they have won? Shouldn't City, with the amount of money they spend every year, shouldn't they win the title every single season?
Nearly did, to be fair.
No, but shouldn't they? Shouldn't they though? Shouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, so
and I hear that. And look, I don't necessarily think Chelsea are being overrated. I think it's what I find interesting is that there's people that don't want to give a stance on it. So, and I'm talking Chelsea fans. Some are sort of like, oh, we don't know what a title race is. We don't want to speak about those things. It's like, well, that obviously means that you do, but you don't want to put it out there and then underachieve. I don't necessarily think they're being overrated. I just think there's a lot of jealousy that goes around because a lot of people predicted Chelsea's demise. I think a lot of people said that they wouldn't ever get back to a point of winning major trophies, wouldn't get back in the Champions League. Todd Bowley and Clearlake's plans are all failed. And I think that they have. By the way, I want to say to the viewers, I know there's been a lot of issues with YouTube in the last half an hour where it's been bugging out and lots of you have sat with a blank screen. I know a lot of you in the comments go, Terry, fix it. I don't work for Google. I'm not in California. I can't help. This is servers. Or it's a StreamYard issue into them. I don't know. But it looks like it's resolved itself on my phone now so I can see it. So, yeah, when you guys... I know you're telling us, but please refrain from saying, can you fix it every 5 seconds? Because there's nothing we can do. It's jarring. You know what I'm saying? It's like going to the baker saying my car don't start. I mean, great, thanks. Do you want a hot dog? Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy. They sell hot dogs at bakers. You know what I mean? Do you want a jam donut? But are Chelsea overrated? Let us know. Give us your thoughts. Give us your feelings. Terry, please fix Man United. I wish I could, man. And yeah, refresh your page. A lot of people are probably still watching. Refresh it. It should be working. People saying it isn't working. Well, I'm watching it. So
yeah, it's fine on my phone.
It's phone. So yeah. get their stream. I was wondering, like, we started losing viewers. I was like, oh, they're getting bored of us talking. Then someone said, that's bugging out. So at least I now know they weren't leaving because of us. The next question on the show that I have, stupidly, I shut down that page. I don't know why. I'm going to go get it now. We're going to get onto Liverpool in a bit. We've got another Arsenal question coming up. But this question here, and I can't wait to ask this one. I'm going to go to Nobbins first on this.
Oh, God, not again.
Reijnders looks like a ready-made replacement for Kevin De Bruyne and could be the signing of the summer.
I agree with 2/3 of that statement. So I'm going to go football. I don't agree with the Kevin De Bruyne bit, but yeah. What was the first bit of the statement? Sorry.
The first bit was the Kevin De Bruyne bit. It is looks like a ready-made replacement for KDB and could be the signing of the summer.
I do think he could be the signing of the summer, definitely. Lots of City fans were more excited / interested by Šeško because it's obviously a more fun player to watch, more creative, prettier on the eye, that sort of thing. But to me, like, Reijnders was actually the most important signing for City. If you just like watch one game of City last season, the midfield was absolutely shot. It needs Nate desperately in there. It needed a box-to-box midfielder in there. That's exactly what Reijnders is. He can play basically anywhere in the midfield, slightly deeper, more central, as against Wolves, a bit more advanced as well. He can play off the left, he could play off the right. I'm not going to say that he's like a replacement for De Bruyne because I think that's a trick question. I don't think anyone can be that. But in respect of like influence and in respect of like actually allowing for a solid midfield for City, and that's how City tends to win their titles with the midfield, I think that he's got a really strong case to win Player of the Season. I think to me it's going to be one between Reijnders and Wirtz. I think that they will be the top two, I think, by the end of the season. But there's definitely a world where he can do that. He's got literally everything to his midfield game, box crashing, ball carrying via the pass, or the dribble, as we saw for City's first goal. He's defensively sound as well. He can fill in for Rodri alongside Nico, can play slightly more advanced. He is already one of the best midfielders in the world, and he's only going to get better under Guardiola, which is pretty exciting. He's certainly the perfect signing for City, the perfect Gundogan replacement, and I hope that City are going to surprise a few people this season. I think we'll do a bit better than a lot of people are giving us credit for. So I think that therefore City will do well, therefore Reijnders will do well, and yeah, football.
What are you saying, Kate? I mean, he was fantastic in his debut. Scored, set up. I mean, I know he didn't get the assist for the first one, but the dribble, the skill, the chip pass on his right, the goal on his left, the assist on his right foot, running through the middle, looked amazing. What did you make of him? Do you think he is the ready-made heir to KDB?
I agree with Nobbins there. I'm saying football because I think he could potentially be the number one signing of the summer, but I don't think we can say he's potentially a replacement for KDB. It's too early to say for a start, and KDB is such a legend at Man City. It feels wrong to even compare the two at the minute. But I think he was the first, or only the second player to score an assist on his debut. The one before was Aguero. So if he does for City anything like Aguero does, then they've got an absolute baller on their hands. But look, when Foden comes back and Rodri with him, is it Reijnders? I always want to say Reijnders. I don't know how to say his name properly.
Reijnders.
Reijnders. Can I call him Reijnders? Well, anyway, Reijnders.
Why not? You won't mind.
When you've got Reijnders with Rodri and Foden, they're going to be absolutely unstoppable in midfield. He looked just a fantastic signing. As I say, I think it's too early to sort of do the comparison with Kevin De Bruyne, but I do think potentially he could turn out to be the signing of the summer. I'm not sure how much you paid for him. I did know, but I can't remember.
I think it was less than 50 million. I think it was relatively cheap. I don't know what Milan were playing at, to be honest.
It's potentially the cheapest as well. So, I mean, it looks like just a fantastic bit of business for Man City, and he could be such an influential player for them this season. So, yeah, I'm going football for that one.
He's very good, and I was very annoyed when Man City got him. I was someone who, when we were doing our predictions, have put Man City right back up to the very top, because I went. My mindset was their biggest problem last year was they couldn't win any midfield battles. Now Rodri coming back helps that, even though he's not been available. Reijnders was winning midfield battles on his own for AC Milan last year. AC Milan have not been good, and Reijnders was in Team of the Year, arguably Player of the Year in the whole division, alongside McTominay for the work he was doing in that AC Milan midfield. Putting him in there into a City midfield, which just needed a guy in there to do work, but also have a bit of quality about him. It's a dangerous combination, and it fixed so many of the problems. Don't be wrong, I thought Wolves had a couple of moments early on where they could get at them, especially out wide. But once City started to get a foothold on the game, Reijnders ran it, as I would expect them to do. And he, especially with Rodri seemingly struggling to get fully fit, and maybe that'll be a story across the whole season where he can't necessarily stay fit for prolonged periods of time. Having a guy like Reijnders come in who can just take that pressure on his shoulders and take that midfield and grab it by the scruff of the neck and take it to where it needs to get to. City won't be as easy to break down. If City aren't as easy to break down, they won't lose games. And when City don't lose games, they accrue a hell of a lot of points. So I'm worried about Man City this year in terms of Ryan, especially some of the other signings as well, which seemingly meshed quite well. I mean, Ryan's he came off the bench for all the 15 minutes scored and looked bright. If they get that winger that they're after, I mean, it looks like they're keeping Cyrus. They don't need that winger, but if they were going to get that winger that they were after, then it's an even bigger thing. But Ryan's, he's not like KDB. I don't think he's like KDB. I think he's more of a box to box. He's more of a everywhere kind of guy. In KDB, you didn't get the best out of him doing that. But I think Reijnders at the end of the season will be seen as one of them signing of the season types.
Yeah. What are you saying, Chatty Pay? City have not had a great deal of luck with midfield signings in the last 3 seasons. All of them really, probably barring Kovacic, have been relatively poor to outright flops. Is this going to buck the trend?
Yeah, definitely. And I said it from before, when City did all their business quite early, like kind of before the Club World Cup, that they brought in some really good players. And I looked at it, they bought him for 46.3 million, which is a snip in today's market. You're getting players from the Championship for that money. So it's crazy, the quality. And he comes in with already, still youngish at 27, but he comes in and he already looks accomplished. He looks comfortable, set, and he ran and bossed that game. And yeah, he's a top player, man. So if you're going off of that, I know it's only one performance, but we already know how good he was in the Serie A. Then it's definitely football. He looks brilliant, and he's only going to improve an already stacked Man City team. And it just allows them balance as well, balance on the counter, balance in transition, and also allows them to build up with quality. And, he's a lot faster than people give him credit for as well. So our top player coming into a top team under a top manager like Pep, he's only going to improve. He's got much better players around him. So it is a scary thought for the rest of the league. So yeah, well done, Nobbins. That's a top player there, man.
Thank you. I was on the phone to him personally. Yeah. He saw my analysis video. I was like, okay, I need some of that. I need some of that. Right, come on, let's make this a clean sweep of football. Come on, guys, don't let me down. We're 4 for 4 now.
Now, I mean, look, is he a ready-made replacement for KDB? I don't think that's his job. So, I think he's coming into, of course, like do box to box, and to be honest, finish goals off, because that left-footed finish yesterday was wicked. Of course, if we're saying one game, like we've already said, then Wolves, Man City should be slapping Wolves. So technically speaking, if you're going down that route, then it shouldn't really matter. But I will still say that left foot finish was delectable. And honestly, you might have an argument for what Sarr was doing that far over, but still wicked. He's a great player. Could he be signing of season? Yeah, obviously. If they go in and win the title, then he's gonna be in that conversation for sure. And I do think whoever's team wins the title, they're gonna be saying that's probably who's going to be signing of the summer. Like if Liverpool go and win it, they'll say Ekitike is probably signing the summer. If Arsenal go and win it, they'll probably say it's Gyökeres. If Chelsea go and win it, they'll say it's whoever. Let me stop there. He's top tier. And for the price that they got him for, AC Milan are silly. that's a player you don't let go of. Like watching them in Serie A yesterday, last season, like it was Pulisic, Leao, Reijnders. And whenever the other two didn't perform, he still did his job, like consistently throughout the season. So I remember watching the ticker being like, he's going anyway. And I remember thinking, it doesn't matter where he ends up. I actually don't understand why they're letting him go. This is the worst player they could sell. So yeah, probably
Are you confused about why AC Milan made a bad transfer decision? Like,
no, I get what
this is what they do.
I know, but this is
Sandro Tonali wants to die in Milan, and he sold him to Newcastle for a quick buck. You think he won't do the same with Reijnders? This is what they do.
I know. It's just, but he's like, to be honest, I thought he was younger. 27, it kind of makes sense to me. He's doing what he's doing. Like, you're in the prime years of your life.
Yeah, so it's because he's relatively inexperienced. Like, he's only had a couple seasons at the top level. Like, he's a bit of a late bloomer. So he's only, even though he's older, he's more sort of got like the body of like an early 20s player because he's not had too many seasons at the top level. Because
also he's kind of like an Eze.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because that's why I'm like, when I see Eze doing what he's doing now, I'm like, yeah, you're 20, bro. This is prime year. So actually, I'm like, you know what? Fair play to him. Like, you could still come and be whack, but hey, man, yeah, top tier, man.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with it and say I think it is a clean sweep. It is football, and I do think he's a ready-made replacement for KDB. I don't think that statement means he's as good as. But I think he comes in and he's ready to replace him. And I think that there isn't going to be this. You're not going to get the very best of KDB. Is he good enough to replace the KDB of the last 2 years? Yes. Is he good enough to come in and get goals and assists? Yes. City may not get another midfielder as good as KDB in any of our lifetimes again. And this is what I think of football fans that go through the peak era or the first peak era have to remember is you may never get that again. You know, Mo Salah at Liverpool, this may be the best attacker any of you see in the rest of your lifetimes. Some people have been lucky to see Dalglish and him. But if you actually look at the length and breadth and the size and the history of Liverpool, most fans have only seen one of them. You know what I'm saying? So, or alive to tell you that story still. So you have to be very mindful of that. But I think Reijnders, he just looks out of this world. He looks ready for the Premier League. And that is a massive, sobering fact for everybody else. Let's go to these super chats here. We'll come on to that one in a bit. Did Pat ever wear an Arsenal kit for his lost bet?
He did.
Oh man, no comment.
He didn't do it yet. He felt so it cancelled out.
No, I haven't done it yet. We was gonna do it when we do a live, like in
a studio, and we'll get something. We'll get something done. Yeah. We will.
Don't do it, Pat. Don't do it.
No.
Pat's got to do it because Pat was the one who literally forced a football onto Colleen. He forced the Spurs kit on her. Not literally, people. Don't take it out of context. No, her too thing going on here. Is it her too? What was it called? Believe me.
Me too. The Me Too movement.
Me too. Her too. Yeah. Believe me. I don't know. I couldn't remember what it's called. None of that. She was up for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Putting the shirt on, that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen.
Big up Colleen. Hope she's good, man. I miss Colleen. She was great, man. She was great. Tell what Sancho's problem. Oh, listen, man.
He's got a gal, man.
I can't.
He's got babes tattooed on his neck.
He's got a thing now. He needs to stay local.
The thing is as well with Sancho, I just think he's getting bad advice. I know he wants the bag from Man United for one more year, but I don't think he realizes the offers next year are just probably not going to be as good if you're not at a club being. And if you just want money, we can say for double to Saudi, you can get 500 bags a week. Go Saudi.
No, you just want. He can't go, bro.
Yes, he can.
He just sweetie, bro. He's not trying to go nowhere.
Where's this girl from?
American side.
Okay, listen. Saudi to America, right? England to America. You're not talking about that much further in distance on a private jet. He could literally. He's a good enough player to literally get someone in Saudi to buy him a private jet to go there whenever he wants. No. Stop rejecting the contract, Jaden.
Dubai, bro. He needs sexy fish.
Yeah, move it to Dubai. Move it to Saudi. Saudi's nice. Big up, Terry. The signing of the summer will be whoever United signed to fix their clown fiesta in goal. I hope so, Marv. I hope so. I refuse this Chelsea slander. Liverpool lost to the same team, Crystal Palace, whilst Chelsea haven't had much rest. It's too early to call it overrated.
I mean, we drew.
You lost.
You lost. Do you see what I'm saying? You lost, bro. You lost. If Tottenham lost, you lot lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm calling it a draw as well. I'm with
Exactly.
Tom.
See,
Yeah.
I got agreements. It was a draw.
Objectively, it was a draw. It was
How
a
do we know
draw.
you wouldn't have lost if there was a penalty shootout at the end of your league game?
Oh, well, maybe.
So hang on. So what
In
you're
90
saying?
minutes, we drew.
So Tom, what you're telling me is you didn't win the Champions. You didn't win the final against AC Milan. You drew it.
No, we drew it and won the trophy. Yeah, if that's what
Yeah,
you want to say.
You
no.
see what I mean? Thank you, Tel. Thank you.
No. To be fair, the laws of the game does make the distinction. It does say that penalty shootouts are used to determine the winner of the trophy, not the winner of the match. It does. It is that anal, I'm afraid. Tom is right.
bro.
No.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say Tom's right. I don't want to
Nobbins.
back him.
I'm
But
going to Google that now. I think you're right, but I'm going to Google it. Does
That rule's been in place since 20
a
whatever.
penalty shootout decide?
the reason why the rule exists is because, do you remember? So let's say like the 11-12 season, Real Madrid Bayern. The first leg, Bayern won. Second leg, Bayern lost, but Bayern won the penalty shootout. So if that rule wasn't in place, then for the second match, it would mean that Bayern Munich both won and lost the match. So that's why the rule exists, because obviously you can't win and lose the match at the same time.
So it's a technicality.
Yes, exactly. You're
On a-
right.
on a
Tom.
technicality, we got the same result
I don't
as
want
you
to
did.
say you're right, but here
So
we
Man
are.
United didn't lose the Europa League final to Villarreal. Okay, cool.
Yes,
I like it.
Exactly. Yes,
okay,
it was
I
a
can
draw.
take that.
Officially.
Officially, it was a draw. Yeah, but in reality, on human levels, we lost.
I mean, the fact of the matter, Teddy, is if you were to put a bet on who wins the game and it goes
That's
to a penalty shootout, they won't give you it because it wasn't won in 90 minutes or whatever.
Well, yeah. There is a separate thing there, but you lost the Community Shield to Palace. Yes or no?
Yeah,
Yes,
we lost the
there we go.
Community Shield to
Can we
Palace.
just word that
didn't lose the
question
game.
differently? That's all we got to do.
We didn't lose the game.
You see what semantics does, people? Chillax, everyone. Spurs almost beat PSG. Is PSG shit now? Chelsea drew against Palace. Are you going to count them out? It's the first game. Anything could happen. I agree with you, my friend. We'll come back to some more of the super chats that are Arsenal related. The next question is about Arsenal. Fiction or football, Chatty Patty? Arsenal made a mistake choosing Gyökeres over Šeško, especially after Gyökeres' poor debut against Manchester United.
Oh, what a question. You know what? It pains me to say this, but I'm going to be logical here, and I'm going to say fiction. It's too early to write him off. I know he looked awful, by the way. He looked absolutely crap. Looked like he'd never played football before, and the teammates around him didn't look good with him in the system as well. But it's too early, man. It's game week 1. We know he's a good striker. There's a lot of slander that it's the Portuguese league, but I have seen him play well in the Champions League against very good teams. So it hurts me to say this, but I'm going to have to say it's fiction. And obviously I want him to flop. Let's have it right. I don't want him to do well, but he is a good player, man. And he probably will score at least 15 for Arsenal. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say fiction on that one, Terry.
What was the statement again, please? Just like the actual wording of it.
So the wording is, and I took this almost verbatim from a tweet from a big Arsenal account that says Arsenal made a mistake choosing Gyökeres over Šeško, especially after Gyökeres' poor debut against Manchester United.
Okay, I'd say fiction then, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Gyökeres based on what I've seen of him. And I don't think that he's going to elevate. I personally don't think he will elevate like Arsenal to title winning levels. If the choice is between Gyökeres, who in theory is a ready now, win now striker, versus Šeško, who's more of a project, will be a much better player in a few years, then you've got to err on the side of the player who in theory is ready now, because Arsenal need to win now, and they can't really wait for Šeško to be that sort of player in a few years' time. Because again, lots of their players are ready to win the title. I mean, realistically they should have won it by now. But yeah, the development they're at, it makes more sense for them to target more of a ready-made player. But yeah, he was poor, obviously. He'll get better at that, but it's not good like when Havertz comes on and your pressing just looks so much better immediately. So he's got a lot to work on, of course. But yeah, I'd say fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I it just comes down to Arsenal adapting the football to him. It felt a lot watching that game yesterday, like how it was, like how I thought it would have been, should I say, with City and Haaland, where Haaland does loads of the same things that he was doing in the past, but City don't find him. But in that first season, City just kept giving him the ball. They kept trying to force the ball to him, and he done what he done. It felt like Arsenal weren't on the same wavelength as him. There was so many times where Gyökeres is making this run off he's not getting past. I do think the physicality caught him a little bit off guard. I do think there was a couple of times where he was bullied a bit, which should get sourced out the more he plays. But I do think it's fiction because look, I've been told all season, and all summer, and all last season, and all last summer, that once Arsenal get a striker who can score goals, it's over for the league. They couldn't have got a better striker for scoring goals than Gyökeres. The problem is he just didn't have a shot yesterday. Now, if you can get him to have some shots, maybe we'll start to see what he's all about. But playing him the way they played him yesterday, I think you're going to waste him, which is why I think that just because they need it to work this season, Arteta's going to have to adapt parts of the system to suit Gyökeres a bit more. And once he does that, it will 100% be fiction. I just think he's better than the other option that was available. Maybe Šeško would have meant that they could stick to a similar style of football, but I also kind of think that the change might be somewhat needed at Arsenal anyway to keep it fresh. So I'm going to say it's fiction.
I think that's the only reason why I think it's football. But I don't think it's based on the result yesterday. I just think for the project they're building, it would have made more sense to me to get a young and hungry striker that the others can sort of help bed into what they do here. And I think it would have been a little bit easier for me anyway, just what they're doing for him to come into that project. But I do understand that and I said this in the group chat earlier, with Arteta being there, now is the time. And if they don't do it, you're right, it's sticky. But I think they made a mistake because I think Arteta wanted Šeško anyway. I don't think he wanted Gyökeres. I think the Gyökeres opportunity came up and they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, right. Why wouldn't we take it? He's ready. He scores goals. It's sort of like a no-brainer. But I think if it was just Šeško and a bunch of other strikers, he 100% was in for Šeško. So I do on that basis think it's football, but I don't think based on performance, because I still think Gyökeres is going to go and bang so many teams this season. I just think it's peak because basically their barometer for knowing if he's a success or not is if they win the league. And there's a very, very big chance they don't win the league with City being good and Liverpool being good. So that's the reason I say football. I think it's football.
I think it's fiction. I think it's way too early to say whether one's better than the other. I know that Gyökeres didn't have any shots in 60 minutes, and I think Šeško had 2 shots in half the time. But at the end of the day, you've got to put it in context against opposition. And like someone said, Arsenal haven't played with a striker for years now. I think Arteta's going to have to switch the system up to sort of fit him in. He didn't look sharp to me at all, Gyökeres, but like I say, it is only the first game. And I think we've just got to give him a bit of time. I'm like Patty. I hope he is the biggest flop that's ever come into the Premier League. More than anything in the world, I hope that he's a massive flop. But yeah, didn't do anything that made me think that he's going to elevate Arsenal to winning the league. But it is only the first game of the season, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's fiction as well. And as much as I thought that either would be a very good signing for Arsenal, I think Gyökeres is better. The problem is it's that we've gone in the 007 thing started this 4 years ago with Sancho, and ever since then it's got faster and faster. I don't think pre-season helps because people start doing the scored on his debut. I hear commentators say, oh, Gyökeres scored on his debut. Now his debut was always against Man United, and you build up this thing of he got 3 goals in pre-season, he's looked good. Yesterday was real. This weekend was real football. And you saw it in the way some of the games went. Real football is just different. friendlies are a little bit like sparring. You can get indicators, yes, but they don't tell you the full story. He's an amazing striker. It might end up being, again, I think it's spaghetti throwing. I think it's a case of if I say it now and I tweet it now and it ends up being right, I can be like, I was a genius. There's so much of that goes on in football as well. And of course, people want him to flop. I think the worst thing Arsenal fans can do on this is, I think the worst thing they can do is turn on him early as fans. I don't think Arsenal's, I know a lot of gooners want to do up, again, the manosphere gooners, we should probably call them. They want to do up this whole, we've got to have the highest standards ever in the history of football. I don't think their players or their club react well to that type of pressure. I think their players in their club, for one reason or another, react to, come on, guys, we've got your back, we support you. I think they're always a better team when the fans are in a good mood. And I don't think it's going to, I don't think being angry at him after one game is going to make him a better football player. So I think they've got to get behind him. I think they've got to support him as best they can. I think they've got to almost blindly support him in a way. You know what? I could criticize him today, and I get why it's constructive, but the whole world's coming down on him. Maybe what I should do is put my arm around him. And life's a bit like that. There are moments in your life where you go, I know my best mate was out of order, but you know what? His missus had a go. His boss has had a go. His dad's had a go. I'm going to meet him for a beer and just talk about The Sopranos. I'm not going to also have there are times in life where you support in a different way. And I think that is what Gyökeres needs from Arsenal fans right now. I hope they don't on a fan level. I hope they go in hard. I hope that it makes him crumble. And I hope that their manosphere pressure manifests itself into a flop, because none of us want them to do. That being said, it probably means that Liverpool win the league, which is bad. So maybe I hope it doesn't happen. It's a horrible position to be in, you know what I mean? It's one rival winning it or another, or my two biggest rivals, City or Liverpool, winning it. Arsenal feel like my only hope of stopping them because my club can't. So I don't really want it to on a Man United level, but I get why it'd be funny to watch it flop. But Arsenal fans, I think you've got to get behind this guy because he's fantastic. He didn't have a great game yesterday. But it's 31 games into it's 30 game, one game in, 37 to go. I wouldn't be writing the geezer off right now if I'm being absolutely honest with you. But that's just my opinion. This here from D, it says, fiction or football, United fans accepting Bruno as captain really shows how much the standards are dropped. He asked to be subbed off when they lost. No, they did. First of all, when no one's answering, well, the guys can answer the question. This is not 1939, but he didn't ask to be subbed off. Gary Neville later clarified that he misread what he was doing. Gary Neville was watching from the stadium and thought he was saying sub me off. He wasn't. So that was misclarified. Equally, whether Man United fans accept it or not, what do you want to do? Protest against the captain? So yeah, you can answer that if you want, but it is a lie, the super chat. So just putting it out there. He didn't ask. Same as last year. I don't like what Garnacho has done to us this summer, but last year that they did the same thing that the commentators, when he walked off down the tunnel after being subbed off, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, he stormed off down the tunnel." Then there was evidence that came out from people that were in the ground that would film stuff. What he did, he pointed to he was soaking because it was raining. He said he literally pointed up to the manager or one of the coaches and said, he literally pulled his shirt. I'm going to go change my shirt and I'll be back. And he went in and then he came back out like 5 minutes later. It was all clarified. The next week, the commentators, I wonder what Garnacho is going to be like today after he stormed off down the tunnel. They still push the fucking lie. And that sort of shit I hate. So, yeah, we're not perpetuating that.
I mean, my favourite thing about this whole, Bruno Fernandes shouldn't be nice captain. Who the fuck should be? There's not really many others in that squad that I'd turn to, because that squad has struggled for identity for how many years?
What happens at Man United is we do a lot of this. The Man United fan base, we are notorious for this. We look at something that maybe is a problem. Would it be nicer to have a captain as good at leading as Roy Keane or Vidic again? Yes. But we do this little thing, and you boys and Kate will always remember once that virus Pogba's gone, we'll be better. You know what? Once Rashford's out of this team, you watch us fly. When McTominay's gone, levels are going up. We do this little thing. Like we always go for the low-hanging fruit, and we never focus on the real root cause problems at the football club. And yeah, Bruno didn't have a good game yesterday, and I criticised him. But whether he's the captain or not, do you remember when Maguire was the captain? And as soon as we took him away from being captain, we become a better team. None of these things actually made any real impact on making the team better, because they've never been big issues. The same as like Odegaard wearing the captain's armband. Oh, it should be Rice. Rice can still lead in the same way. Just because one's talking to the referee and doing the coin toss doesn't change how your team plays. At the end, it's a weird one to me. We need better players as a team. We need a regimented system that we stick to for years. We need players that are right for that system. And we need the culture to be where people just can't down tools when they want. That will fix us, not changing captains. Because if we change captains but everything else stays the same, we're still fucked. Do you know what I'm saying? It took Bergkamp 7 matches before his first goal. It took Henry 9 matches. Fans need to calm. I've spoke about this recently, and I was like, can you imagine after both Bergkamp and Henry flopped before Arsenal signed them at their previous clubs? Can you imagine what social media would have said if it existed back then when they were signing them? It would have been hilarious, man. People want the Arsenal to be bad more than their own clubs to be good. The hate is cucky, desperate, and embarrassing.
I don't think it is.
That's a weird statement.
Right,
That's a weird one. Bro.
Yeah, that's a weird statement.
No, it's a very simple question. Right. I know my answer. Would I rather Liverpool win the league or Arsenal finish 7th? I'd rather win the league. Would you, Nobbins, rather Man City win the league or Arsenal finish 7th?
Oh, sorry, was I supposed to answer that?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. I'm on the point.
If Arsenal win, it would be Zubimendi. If Arsenal win, would Zubimendi be the signing of the summer, not Gyökeres?
It depends. It depends
does
on the
depend.
performances.
Yeah, exactly. If Zubimendi dominates in every midfield battle, if Zubimendi scores, then he could, yeah. Arsenal still getting used to playing with Gyökeres. There were times he made runs and movement, and the midfield didn't find him. They will gel soon.
It's important the manager sticks with it, though, because the worry I would have if I was an Arsenal fan is if it's not clicking within 5 games, we're still seeing some of these problems. Does he just revert to type with Kai and chuck Kai Havertz back up front and go, look, I need me steady option. I know I'm just going to stick with what works and I'll bring Gyökeres off the bench and he can come on against tired defences and run around a bit. Because if that's what ends up happening, you just waste everyone's time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. Final fictional football question of the night. Okay. And many people are expecting the Isak to Liverpool bomber to drop, and we'll go into that. But the question is, and I'm going to go to Kwess first on this. Liverpool don't need to sign Isak after scoring 4 against Bournemouth, especially with Ekitike looking class.
It's football. This is football. This is football. And you know what's worse than it being about football here? This is greed. This is actually greed. You've already got Salah. You've already got Gakpo on the left. You've already got VX. You've already got Graham. How much? Is it not enough? Is it not enough? And you know what gets me is, this is the funny thing about the debate. How many games does it take before we start rating players or not rating players? Ekitike has come in, and every game he's played, he's looked like the best player at Liverpool. Maybe I'm being crazy over the top, but I'm watching him. I'm going, oh my days. I can't believe Chelsea didn't sign him. So, for me, it's not like I don't understand you don't need another striker. I hear that. But going then to sign probably the 3rd best striker or 2nd best striker in the league. Obviously, now Gyökeres is here. People might argue that, That's just pure greed. Like, you know, actually, like Liverpool actually doing too much. Like, relax. Like, for me, this is why I'm like, I actually need City now to just come, and just headlock Liverpool, because you're actually doing too much. Like, just go and take your best players in the world, they're better than everybody, and go and win it again. Because I actually just think I worry it could mess up. Because I worry with everything going on, it's just a big palaver, and then Isak comes and he's not really hitting the ground running. I worry it can mess up. I think it's football. I think they're doing too much. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, someone in chat real quickly. Sorry, someone said Ekitike is back up for East. Are you sick? Have you seen Ekitike? Let me end my thing there. That's just nasty work.
I mean, I want to be greedy for once, so I think we do need him. I think Ekitike can play multiple positions. I've been very impressed by how technically sound he is, and how well he drifts into the wide areas, specifically the left hand side. He looks at times like a winger. And, even then, there's times when he's dropping into the 10 and he looks just as calm there. So it gives me the idea that we've got some positional flexibility. There's just a baseline fact of I've only got one striker at the minute. So I need another striker anyway. I can't play Ekitike 90 minutes every game. And the last couple of games, when I've had to take him off the pitch because he's not had a full pre-season, we've gotten a lot worse with no striker on the pitch. So on that basis, I need another striker anyway. Why not just go get best in class? You know, he wants to join, although this whole I want to put this whole saga behind me. The whole saga which has led to, you know, will he, won't he, David Ornstein's now this, Fabrizio Romano is now that, who knows where will that stand at the end of it. We've done this, Newcastle have done that, yada yada yada. I just want my striker. Newcastle can buy whoever they want. I saw today they were linked with Nkunku. Get whoever you want at this point. Just get whoever so I can have my striker and I'm done with it. But I do think we'll be fine with it. It's greedy, but it's what champions do. They strengthen whilst in a position to strengthen. We haven't done it before. The last time we won a title, we didn't address the key problem, which was the centre back depth, and it came back to bite us massively. Even times in the past, we won the Champions League and didn't buy anyone afterwards. Now, albeit we won the league the year afterwards, but it had knock-on effects for a couple of years later because the players were gassed. After getting to a Champions League final and losing out on the Premier League on the last day of the season, we bought Darwin fucking Núñez. There's no strengthening from a position of strength. This summer, we're attacking it differently. So if Isak's available and he wants to join, go and get it done. Albeit it's not in our hands, which is the only annoying thing, which is why I do think that you might see a pivot late on in the window to a different target because we can't not get someone in the summer. We do need another striker.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. Lots of people have been talking about, you know, Liverpool, do they lack depth at the centre back? Do they lack depth, you know, in the midfield? But if you go beyond the starting 11 for Liverpool, their forward line's also looking a little bit light. It would only take like an injury or two, or you know, like players go into international tournaments, whatever, like Salah will do at AFCON, for people to realise how stretched it might become. I think that signing would just like sort of like tip them over the edge offensively, and they're already stacked there. I will say it won't solve like the problems I believe Liverpool have. Like signing a striker won't do that, but it does solve like another problem in respect to the attacking depth. So yeah, they should definitely still be pursuing Isak, and I massively rate Ekitike as well, but I don't think it's a case of like, you know, one or the other. Like I think they can both coexist, and as Tom says, like rotation is a thing. Liverpool will be playing like 60 plus games this season, so yeah, definitely. Football.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, if I'm Tom, I'm saying football. As a rival, I'm saying fiction. But in all honesty, they won the league, so yeah, as Tom says, if he wants to come, then buy him. At the end of the day, they've got the likes of Chiesa, Salah, Verts, Gakpo. But as Tom said, Ekitike likes to play on the left. Isak's going to be more down the middle, I would think. Plus, if they're struggling, if they're ever struggling, they've got the option of bringing the both of them on at the same time. If I'm in Liverpool's position, I'm going to try and get both and try and dominate the Premier League. At the end of the day, everyone else is strengthening. So if they can get him, then get him.
Yes, football for me as well, because if you look at it just from a Liverpool standpoint, in terms of depth and strength, they lost obviously Jota, God rest his soul. Núñez has been sold. Diaz has gone to Bayern Munich, and they've only brought in one striker as opposed to Ekitike or attacking player. So they're already lighter than what they were last year. Yes, the quality's got better, but they're actually lighter in that position. So it's a long season. They're going to be in a lot of competitions, and ideally they're going to go far. So they need that quality. And yeah, Tom's right. Now in a position of strength, this is where you go again and really re-up, especially if they're looking to win the Champions League and really compete. The player wants to move. Obviously, we have to see what happens with Newcastle and what happens there. But it makes sense for them to go and do it. So it is a football for me.
Do any of you lot have a striker you can give Newcastle, please? Just so we can push this on.
Yeah, Jackson. We got Jackson, bro.
Yeah, there you
Jackson,
go. Jackson.
Come collect.
Yeah, there you go.
Because this is the only thing, yeah. This is what gets me though, yeah. So Liverpool, I get from a Liverpool perspective, I completely understand it. And it's definitely not greed from a Liverpool perspective. But we're talking about players going out the door and you're having to replace. So I'm just trying to understand, why is it different for Liverpool when they've lost two players but we're saying, and I'm not trying to bring it back, but I'm just misunderstanding. What's the difference here? Because Chelsea lost Madueke and Kunku's going out the door, Jackson's going out the door, and Mudryk is on drug charges. But
You got Raheem the Dream.
and Raheem. So why? I just want to understand what the difference is, because for me, this is
you got
Liverpool
depth,
should
though.
do this.
You got depth. You've got
Where? I just
got,
named 4 players.
Nkunku. You've got Sterling. You've got who else you got? You got so many players. The thing is, you've stacked so much. You don't actually mind if you lose.
Esteval.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
I wasn't familiar with your lot's game. Sorry. Fair enough. No, I hear you though. They have to get him. If he's there for the taking, you have to do it, man. Especially if City are coming back like this, you actually can't afford to let them get a sniff. Like, you have to go and mash them up.
I think as well there are from pre-season there's been 1 or 2 problems, especially with rest defense. Like at times when we lose the ball high up, we look quite exposed. And I know the logical thing is, well, and just buy different midfielders, which is one way of fixing it. But I think as well, if we add Isak, we have someone there who's going to make correct decisions in the final third a lot more often. If I look at the goals we conceded against Bournemouth, they were because we were too passive. We were too tippy-tappy. Both goals, it was a case of we've got it on the edge of the box and we're fanning about with it and we lose the ball and then we get counter-attacked. Whereas if we've got a guy like Isak in the box, players aren't sitting there going, right, let's recycle it to the edge and then let's recycle it back. They're going, right, Isak's in the box. Let's get half a yard of space and try and get it in there. I think, and ultimately as well, if we're scoring, if I've got Wirtz, if I've got Salah, if I've got Ekitike, if I've got Gakpo, if I've got Isak, that's close to 80, 90 goals on their own, if not touching triple figures. But, all these guys have shown in the past they can get close to that if you combine the numbers. So if I'm getting 100 goals just like that, I can probably concede 5 to 10 more than what the best defense is doing and be all right.
So you're just going for score more than they score?
In certain cases, yes.
Okay, valid. Okay, I understand that then. Okay, valid.
I don't think it's a case of, it's not a case of score more than they score where the game's going to be 4-3, 5-4, but it's a case of, we might concede 1 or 2, but we'll have
Semenyo's
4, we'll score 4 or 5. He caused us so many problems. Oh my, he's so physical as a winger.
I also don't think this is just about the Premier League for Liverpool. So why I don't agree with the statement, and for me, I think it's fiction that they don't need him, is because Liverpool are trying to do something they haven't done since the 70s, and that's win a major, one of the 2 biggest majors, the Premier League or the Champions League, either at the same time and or with alongside other trophies. They want Premier League and FA Cup. They want Premier League and Champions League. They want Champions League and FA Cup. They want a treble if they can. A quad would be the ultimate goal. That's what they're aiming for here. Because when you've achieved what Liverpool have done, everything's about, of course, you've got to have the right club structure, the right, you've got to go through the process of building a team that can win. But once you're there, everything is, well, how much can we win? I think that as good as they were as a team under Klopp, there is still the couple of domestic trophies towards the end help pad out the trophies a little bit, but it was just 1 league title and it was just 1 Champions League. By the way, I'd love that in that period as a United fan, but I'm talking about what Liverpool want to achieve, about them replicating or surpassing what their team did in the 70s and 80s, because you should always want to surpass your own records. I know every Jamaican in the world loves Usain Bolt, but every Jamaican in the world would love another sprinter of theirs to break. If someone's going to break that record, they'd rather it be a Jamaican. So if somebody's going to, break more records, do a better 4P, do a quad first, have a treble, Liverpool will want those things. So I think this is about them winning multiple major trophies back to back, year in, year out, creating a dynasty that can rival what City have just done and rival what their own club did. So a player like Alexander Isak gives you that opportunity to go, maybe we won't just win the Premier League this year. Maybe we can win the Premier League and Champions League. Maybe they can do a treble. That when you've got players like that, it's Man United, 1999, Ollie, Sheringham, Andy Cole, York. We were never beat because of I've got the midfield was amazing. The wingers were amazing. But those 4 strikers almost made it so we weren't beat because there was always more firepower, different profiles you could bring on. You don't need 4 anymore because teams play with 1 striker. But you know how hard it's going to be. Oh, look, we've managed to keep Isak quiet for a game. Oh, look at the last 20 minutes. Is Ekitike coming on? Or they're putting both of them on at the same time and Ekitike can provide. You all know every one of our defenders is going, fuck's sake. So for me, I just think people are projecting what they want to happen for Liverpool to pull away from it. But I'm not allowing myself to get suckered in by that bullshit. They're getting both. They're going to play both. They're going to have both. Fuck's sake, they're getting both. That's my view on this, man. That bomb is dropping soon. That bomb is dropping soon.
You're more positive than me on it at the minute. I'm worried it's not going to happen this window.
Well, that's because it's your team, isn't it? I'm just living in the world where, for me, it happened 5 weeks ago. I'm so far through. I'm past the denial curve. The denial curve is in my rearview mirror. It's just dipping over the horizon. Then if it doesn't happen, I get this injection of happiness. I'd rather live there than pretend it won't happen and then have to feel that disappointment in real time. I've got over the disappointment. Been to see the therapist. I'm good, man. Trust me. It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. Look, I want to thank every person that's tuning in. I know the last hour or so, YouTube has been absolutely running crazy. Hopefully, when this re-uploads itself, all the segments will be back in place so you guys can see it. Because I know a lot of you have struggled. It was doing really good numbers. It seems like you guys are really enjoying it. And on the first night of a new show being launched is probably the worst time for them to like fuck us in the arse like that. So thank you, YouTube, for that one. But look, I want to thank my panel. I want to thank Super Chatters, everyone who's liked the show, everyone who's tuned in tonight. You're all legends. This is going to redirect you to Don Hassam's channel. So go and support him over there. Hopefully YouTube's back up and running properly by them. I am meant to be going live later tonight for a transfer call-in show. But if YouTube's still bugging, I just won't bother because it'll be a horrible experience for everybody. But we'll see. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.